Did that restart? Was that about to do the theme song again? I promise you, I didn't touch that one. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day. It's been a pretty long week. It's getting hot out there. Trying to stay cool. Got the air conditioning on just for the show, and then it's going right back off. But I hope that you guys are enjoying yourself. I'll tell you one place it was really hot. Las Vegas for the PGF Season 9, Week 3. An incredible place to be this week. But I can tell you one thing. The season is now halfway done. And there's a lot that we can take away. But on today's show, not only are we going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the larger jiu-jitsu community. So those of you who are PGF fans, don't worry, we got plenty of talk about that. And we've also got my longtime friend, Tim Freeman. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
What's up, Raf? Hey, man, I got to say it. I am back in recovery from the meat grinder. That is the meat grinder of week 3. And I'm feeling good about it. You know, I watched from the comfortable couch in my living room. I didn't take any damage. I tapped at the right time. No breaks, no kills, no draws. I just got to chill and play armchair quarterback. But great week for the PGF. Lots of stuff happening in the jiu-jitsu world. Some stuff I want to talk about, some stuff I want to make fun of, other stuff I just want to get your take on it, because there are some topics I read and I'm just like, I can't wait to hear what Raf says about this. So,
oh boy,
glad to be here today, man. Yeah, I know.
Are there any that are not on the board? Because the thing is, I can prepare for a lot, but if they aren't on the board, I'm not as well versed. So was there one that you had that was not on board this week's?
Yeah, there is one, and this is a very, it's sad because we lost a legend, but it's also a celebration of a very decorated martial artist, movie star, action figure, and also a guy who really played a role that's largely unknown to many practitioners in jiu-jitsu in helping get jiu-jitsu to the United States, and that is the late great Charles Norris, otherwise is known as Chuck Norris. Man, Delta Force, right? Fist of Fury. We're talking a great martial artist, and tragically passed away, 86 years old yesterday. But man, gotta give him his due. Chuck Norris, R.I.P. And I want to share my favorite Chuck Norris joke. It's not that great, but none of them are. So here we go. Chuck Norris lost his virginity before his dad.
This is where we should point out that Tim has children, thus making these dad jokes. So it is a very big loss to the dad joke community. And yes, when I was watching clips and on social media, I saw that he made a cameo, and it reminded me he made a cameo in The Expendables. And the whole point of him making the cameo in The Expendables 3, I think, was so that you got Sylvester Stallone being like, "Hey, when you got by King Cobra, you got the Cobra had to spit out your venom." And I go, is this really all you called this man to come do? But it proved that he was in on the joke. I mean, I hearken back to a couple things. One, the movie Sidekicks. I remember watching that, and this is before I was even involved in martial arts. And it's like, okay, it's kind of a silly family movie, but it was there. The real loss to me, and this may predate a lot of you, I know there was a lot of great chatter about the great Conan O'Brien and his work at the Oscars. He did a phenomenal job. But really, the Walker Texas Ranger lever on Conan O'Brien is one of the all-time greatest late-night bits. The way you would stay up till 12:50 in the a.m. each night to see if Conan was going to pull a lever, and they were going to present a clip from Walker Texas Ranger. a beloved longtime CBS drama that aired on Saturdays. Yes, children, Saturdays. They had original programming. And when he pulled this lever, they would present a clip out of context, such as a very young Haley Joel Osment in perhaps the coup de grace, the greatest of all the clips, saying, "Walker told me I have AIDS." And then realizing nothing will top that. And to me, I really do feel like that is part of the legacy as well. The jiu-jitsu stuff, yes, absolutely. One of the first people there. So hold on. We put up a post that said, who deserves a money bag? And we said, specify somebody else. And you said Tony Lyons. Now, Tony, I need you to justify why you deserve a money bag, because I don't think I got to make any case as to why Tim and I deserve money bags. I think that's pretty well articulated here. So I would love to hear that. And it says from Wallow, Carlos Ray Norris, RIP, Lone Wolf McQuaid is my favorite. And it says, how come you don't do a late night show? You know how shit works. I already have. I mean, I worked on a late night talk show. I hosted my own late night variety show in person out here. When I used to write jokes for The Tonight Show, any jokes that Leno didn't take within 30 days went back to me. So I would do a variety show at the end of the month and use some of the stuff that just didn't make air. And it wasn't that he didn't pick them because they weren't funny. There were a lot of writers on there who wrote very funny jokes. It's that he has a certain style. And there are certain people that you go, I think today we're going to make fun of the Kardashians. Who's got the best Kardashian joke? And then sometimes mine would make it. Sometimes they wouldn't. And that was a great place to be. So I love doing that. I do feel like the rest of everybody, though, we are trying to see what late night is going to become, because it is not quite the same. And I think the landscape is changing rapidly. But sometimes you find a new thing that you do that's kind of like late night. I argue we're the late night comedy of all of jiu-jitsu. Be hard pressed, because that's when I show up, is after the show. So I think it all kind of works out in the end. And it says,
I think you're right.
What is your favorite behind the scenes episode? This week, they really did a great job. I thought the 3 that I was watching on my way out were all pretty solid. I thought the Colorado Wolverines had a pretty good one. I thought the Twisters had a fun one. I like seeing them on the roller coaster. But I've been told by reliable sources, aka Jaden Groner himself, that we should be preparing for a very intense walk to a springs that may or may not involve Dave Keel almost dying. So I believe that's coming up on the next one, and I hope that you guys enjoy that one. But it is rare that a guest comes on and tells me, by the way, we almost died. And it is the second time somebody almost got airlifted out, Tim.
Right. I think Jet Thompson caught it first, right?
Jet and TV Dinner. Don't forget. Now we know the other side of that equation, too.
That is a very interesting pairing of dudes to hang out. TV Dinner and Jet Thompson. They could probably have a show. Right. They got airlifted on their first outing. Like, it kind of makes sense to me. Like, I think these guys are ready.
I think so as well. So those are some small updates for you. I'm sure I have something to talk about that I forgot to put on the board, but I'll bring that up here in a second. Why don't we go ahead and start with a quick recap of all things PGF. This was PGF Work 3. So as you know, that is the midpoint for the entire season. We have 2 more weeks of regular play plus 1 playoff week. Tim, from your seat at home, how did it play out, and what were some of the storylines that started to emerge for you?
Well, it was a lot of fun to watch at home. I felt like the production was good. I feel like the commentary team is gelling together quite well. Vanessa Demopoulos, I think I got her name right. I apologize if I don't. She did a nice job when she jumped on for a bit there. the show was great. I thought the action was great. Storyline wise, Jet Thompson retakes the number 1 spot, and the Kings hit a mid-season run. They end up with 97 points on the board. Like, they are showing no signs of slowing down. Twisters, we've seen the emergence of Elijah Carlton in the last 2 weeks. The first week, he laid a little bit low, but we're starting to see him put some mad points up on the board. Austin Orenday is starting to really kill it. He's putting big numbers up. But I think really the story is Jet Thompson jumping from 23 to 44 points and really, getting 6-point kills over Gio, a late finish over Sam. Like, he had a real nice job. Chewy Magana, again, look, and it takes a big man to admit when he's wrong. I was wrong about the lock of the block. Chewy, I owe you an apology. Perdón, mi amigo. I am very sorry. He closed the night out with a nice leg attack against Caleb Crump. And Chewy's proven to be one of these guys that he's never out of the match. Like, at no point, he is not out of the match. You're going to have to be careful. And we also saw Derek Rayfield kind of break through. He's kind of struggled a little bit compared to season 8. But we saw him jump into the top 10, which I kind of wasn't really thinking about, to be honest with you. He had a nice night, 9 points. So the Wolverines are doing better. Like, they're putting points on the board. Good for them. But really, the complexion of the team chase hasn't changed. And the Kings have kind of stepped it up. They had another gear that we didn't know they had. So it's going to be really hard for the Twisters to catch them next week.
I did see a few things emerge, and I kind of want to touch on what you brought up here, Tim. First things first, we should really write out an apology in Spanish that you have to read to Chewy. Okay. I can see if we can make ChatGPT do that here in a second. But 2, this is now really emerging as a 2-team race. Like, we are looking at the Twisters and we're looking at the Kings. And one thing I can tell you about the live broadcast is if you are there, you are finding strange bedfellows. Like, nobody was rooting harder for the Colorado Wolverines than the Twisters when they were up against the Kings for some strange reason. And, it is interesting to watch all of this gameplay happen. It's a good reminder, though, that at any time the race can change. We saw incremental Kings, Twisters. And if you have an exceptionally good block, that can change very quickly between who the actual points leader will be. With just 6 matches left in regular season play, there are going to be some big storylines that will still emerge because we usually put a lot of these big guns against each other at the very beginning. But one thing that always comes out of the blue is, well, who's being alternated in and out? Who's got injuries? Does that play a role? And does somebody have an easier or a harder match? And one thing that I found was great was I thought a couple of the players from the bench came in and did some exceptional jobs. Let's talk about Josh Squires getting on the board and getting 6 points. Critical, huge. Let's also talk about the fact that Gio had a very tough day, but was holding the line very well. And what I like about Gio is Gio was saying on his social media, he's like, hey man, I was really bummed I didn't have the day I wanted. All things considered though, Gio, that could have gone significantly worse for your team, and you stopped the bleeding. And that is really, as much as I know every person should think about trying to perform the best they can, as a bench player, sometimes your job is to stop the bleeding. It is not necessarily to be a hero. It is to make sure the other team cannot score points. So if you are doing that, you are doing an incredible job. And then I want to point this out. Actually, you know what? Let's put full camera on me for a second here because I think this is an important one to talk about. Last week, we weren't rudely interrupted, but we were greeted and seen to have some comments by Sean Melanson, who saw us talking about the post that he made in his car. Some fun back and forth ensued. I saw he screenshot a little bit of the video and put up a clip of me reacting to his stuff, but he did leave out some stuff. Like the part where I said, I think he's going to get a money bag next week. And lo and behold, didn't my man end up getting 3 money bags? Hold. Insert footage of him getting money bags. Return back to me. I'm just saying, maybe, just maybe, our pep talk worked here. So you're welcome, Sean. I knew you had it in you, and we're very happy for you. I think the thing that you have to remember about this particular competition is that you have to take every match bit by bit. And even if you feel frustration, it will emerge as great competition if you're able to show what you do best. And yes, did he have to do a leg lock, which was really against his code and he hated having to do? Yeah, but it's points on the board. And yet, he was also able to get this incredible armbar, and he had a great match against Cam Hurd. So I'm just saying, we know what we talk about here on the Bullpen. Nonetheless, Tim, I have to tell you, man, let's talk about this before we switch topics again, though. In terms of the Philly Phenoms, they have momentum. They have 2 marquee stars in Sean and in Andrew that when they're hitting their stride do put consistent points for the team. It is a little bit far out of the point contention. This is just where we left off from the other day. Nothing is impossible. Let's be very clear about that. But it is a little bit further away this week than where we did leave it. But we should note that both Sean and Andrew are at positions 6 and 7. So I think they are looking at a potential of being in the playoffs. But if you really look at this top 10, here's what we're looking at. Jet, Kevin Beering, Elijah, Austin, Chewy. Those are from 2 teams. The next 2 are Sean and Andrew. Then it goes to Travis, Twisters, Derek Rayfield, Phenoms, and Jared and Cam tied, I believe, for 10th. So I really do feel like the Phenoms, if they can get their act together with Derek and Sean and Andrew, I don't know that they can necessarily pull ahead, but I think they could play some major disruptors. And if you're the Wolverines, let me just say this. Statistically, nothing is impossible. But it is impossible, I think. What I would say is concentrate on your team and remember the experience that you are having. You have 2 more weeks guaranteed of competition. So I really do feel like your job is to really enjoy what this process is and have these incredible moments. Every time the Wolverines have gotten a submission, that team has rallied around each other. And Brett has gotten 2 submissions that have been very fun to watch. Josh coming in and getting some points. Last week, Caleb getting in some points. Like, they've had some incredible moments. So what I really feel right now is the Wolverines, if you are looking at what you should be doing, put that foundation right now into what people can expect from this team for future years. Because right now, the struggles you're going for are going to better inform how to make your team work. And while, yes, you don't have a point total that is necessarily going to be at the top of the team point standing, the way you conduct yourself and conduct yourself during postseason for the next series will greatly affect how I think you're able to make a comeback in the future.
Yeah, I 100%. They're building a brand, and the whole point of building that brand is you're going to need another set of athletes, potentially at a different weight class for the next season, depending on how it shakes out. So, you got to put yourself out there in a way that makes athletes want to come play for your team, makes them want to be part of it. And it's not all just results like, hey, they win. It's also, how do you carry yourself? Like the Kings, they appeal to some people. I'm telling you right now, there's some dudes, like if there was a team from Stockton called the 209ers, they would not want to play for Kevin Lucas. They'd be like, I'm not wearing the sweater. I'm not being a good person. I'm not going to bed on time, and I'm not eating chicken and rice. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's got a brand. They have an appeal, and the Wolverines got to figure out what is that appeal, what's their story, what kind of athletes are they trying to get with it.
And they've had some really fun moments, and I've been asking them about how they've been bonding as a team. And, really that's an important element to how you're paying it forward. So it is easy to get caught up in any kind of negativity here. It is a very stressful thing, and owning a team is come with its own experiences. But I think really start celebrating everything that you can right now. So I think celebrating that you're even in existence, that you have set forth the beginning of a term, and then really how you conduct yourself and the principles that you stand for. Every team has a different kind of vibe to them. So really, how are you going to invite people and show them that culture over the next 2 weeks that makes them want to be a part of that team? So that is some notes.
Yeah.
I did get this question, or I guess this comment. Hey, so I have a funny but genuine MMA question. This is from Nathan Returns. Well, Nathan, if you ask it, I won't promise we'll respond to it, but I'll definitely entertain it. So hit us up. And it says, yes, the Phenoms have 3 guys in the top 10. They do. The real key is, can Derek Rodman Rayfield continue this momentum? And is he able to channel his hatred for shot clock Drew Murillo into points?
Oh, Raf, you just gave me a great idea for the fight. I'm going to add Drew up as one of the referees in that little referee bubble. I think he's earned his spot, dude.
It's that
shot
literally
clock Drew Murillo.
After he scored points, I was sitting right next to the commish. And I want to make it very clear, when I'm sitting next to the commissioner, I am helping with numbers and stats. I have nothing to do with any shot clock or anything to that accord, because the person directly to my left is Drew Murillo. And I want to make sure that everybody knows our jobs in visible line are separate, so that if these athletes ever look like I'm the one that put them on the shot clock, I had nothing to do with it. Do not blame me. I will not accept any blame for it. What I do notice, though, is the way their eyes darted, and in particular, Rodman's eyes darted over to Drew after getting points and then saying like, yeah, take that, Drew. But I think he used other language. And then Drew looking back at him and just kind of laughing. And then me thinking like, I hope this has nothing to do with me. I hope I am not being parlayed here like an officiant in that sort of standing. So nonetheless, it was very exciting. And I really do feel if Derek can continue that energy, the Phenoms can make some quick things happen. But notice, some of these block points had like 15, 16, 18 block points. That's how quickly things can change in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Derek's schedule in week 4 is like, he faces Ornday, which can be tough, right? That's not an easy match. Ornday's doing very well this season. I don't know if Salisbury's coming back. He's slated to go against Salisbury, and then he's got Sam Schwarzenegger after that. So Derek has a chance to put some points on the board for sure still going into week 4. And you're right, the Phenoms need a third guy. They need 3 dudes who can produce in double-digit numbers. There's no other way they're going to hang on with the Twisters or make a run at the Kings if they can.
If you look at the Kings example, the way the Kings kind of roar back here is all of their team, Cam, Jared, Austin, Jet, Chewy, are top 10.
Yeah.
So really, it doesn't mean that the Twisters can't respond in kind, but the Twisters have Elijah and Kevin roaring back with a number of points. They're putting points on the board. And Travis has been helping, but Travis has had some issues in terms of getting some points on the board. And what happens is you have to maintain that momentum, because anytime you start losing block points, that's just extra points that help, the team members stay consistent there, but it is momentum. Even if they don't count for the team points, it's still like the teams start feeling good seeing that they have all their boys in the top 10. So that is something to behold there. But it's also hard where TV Dinner's injured. I don't know if he comes back, but he sat out for 3. Does he come back? Does Gio stay? And then that puts pressure on somebody like a Gio where it's like, yeah, man, you have these great matches. I think they're phenomenal. But to be competitive with the Kings, it's just points, points, points. And I really feel like if you are one of those bench players, man, look for those breaks as much as you can. It really will make a difference. So that is something that I would highly put there. And not to be outdone, Jake Strauss had some very good moments on there and is capable of getting points, but he has been stalled out at 10. And he just is right outside of that top 10. It's really when you have to start looking. And before we move on, let's just say this. I'm going to look at a few point totals here. I'm looking specifically at your Jake, your Cam, your Jared, and your Derek. Those 4 are right outside those top 4 spots outside of the top 8. We only take the top 8 to the playoffs. I think week 4 is big for those 4 individuals because nobody in 6, 7, and 8 is assured to go, but momentum looks good for Sean. Andrew's holding steady, and if he does another day like he just did the other day, I think he will be top 8 as well. But I would say Travis, Derek, Jared, Cam, Jake are currently fighting for that 8th spot. And if Noah has a good day and he comes back, he could take that 6 and very quickly be in contention as well. Same with Caleb, same with Brett, same with Josh if he does start. So nobody's written out of this yet, but we got to get going on chokes or at least some points on the board. I do see a note that says, do you think Caleb catches Jared, who's not getting too many points? I'll let you take that one first, Tim.
Maybe. And I say that because if you look at Jared's schedule coming up on week 4, he's got to go against Melanson, Groner, and Haven. So there's no easy outs for Jared. And Jared's kind of been trending downward in terms of his points that he's been putting up, since week 1. So yeah, there is potential for Crump to catch him. I'm not sure. I'd have to take a look at Crump's kind of strength of schedule moving forward, but yeah, there's potential. Jet Thompson, though, I think, I just want to say this real quick. Week 4, I think he can score 21 points again. He's got McCauley, Moyer, and Strauss. Like, he's going to be lined up to get some kills. He's had a real good run he's got like 6 pretty good favorable matchups. And BMAC said something about this that it's like, oh yeah, you have to keep this in mind. Some of these guys that put up points in the first couple weeks had an easier schedule. And now it's starting to shift where they're facing the guys that are tougher and it's hard. And some of the guys that struggled, like they had harder matchups, they're going to get easier matchups moving forward. So we could see movement.
It's weird. It's like a shift because we noticed that Chewy, as the schedule gets later, has actually harder matches. So the real key is, can he stay consistent? And when I talked with Chewy, he's like, on Wednesday, he's like, didn't have the night I was supposed to have. Everybody says that. But all things considered, that was just the first time he had really been submitted in our competition here. So that was probably rough for him to take. He had a draw, and then I think he got a submission to end the night. So when that happens you're like, yeah, but who did you draw against? And who are you losing to? Because in those particular cases, the match he had with Kevin Beering was very impressive. And I thought, man, he was really putting it on him too. So everything that you think when you get into these long competitions, momentum does play a role. Anything can happen. But as long as you're in the top and you stay consistent, your odds are very strong. But yes, it said, shoot, I was thinking the playoffs was top 10. No. But in years past, people have declined their top seeds. So as many points as you can put on the board is preferred because you might still get one of those deferred slots.
Yeah, that's a good point. And now that we're in an extended season, I think you tend to see less shifts because when it was a 5 days in a row, day 3, some dudes were burnt to the ground, and they just they would get totally wiped off the board and some other dude would move way up. There's a little bit less of the opportunity to do that now because these guys have a week off in between. They can go watch tape. They can recover. They can kind of,
get
listen to
lost
Tony Robbins, get their head in the right
places all throughout Vegas. I'm just telling you guys this. It is hot AF right now. Do not go outside and do dumb shit. If you need to take a walk or a hike, sure. But you can't play at the PGF if you die in the mountains or if you die on some rock structure. It's not an official rule, but it should be.
Yeah, it's an unspoken rule.
It's one of the few unspoken rules we have in the PGF. Why don't we advance the board? I thought what we could do right now, Tim, is we could actually take a look at some of the action that has transpired. So I'm actually going to call up, look at that, Tim just appearing out of the blue right there. I'm going to call up one of the other brands here. So give me just 1 second and I will make this work. But you can tell I have multiple scenes coming up, y'all. My phone was not working today, so we had to make a adjustment on the fly. And for whatever reason, that is not working. So maybe we'll take a second here while I call that up. Anyway, Tim.
I'm on the phone, though. I like that.
What's that? The phone,
I like
the
being on the
that
phone
it looks
in the middle of the screen. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I did too. And I loved when I had it prepared and ready to go. I don't know where it disappeared to. So hopefully we will see this get fixed here. And look, there's me.
Oh.
All right, let's go ahead and put this on. PGF. There we go, sir. I'm going to go ahead and splice this out. Let's go ahead and take a look at some footage. If you haven't seen some of the clips of your boy RAF ESPARZA interviewing this week, I had Jaden, I had Chewy, and I also had Andrew Cockrell. So very, very fun show. Let's take a look, though. I think that Jet did a really good job of promoting his back take series. Have you seen promotions for Jet's Patreon, Tim?
No, I have not. I didn't know he had a Patreon.
He does, and I don't know why that just jumped down all of a sudden. It's very strange. But yes, the Patreon that he had, he was actually plugging it right at the end of the day and was telling people, like, y'all need to come. If you want to learn my back take, then let's go ahead and find me at Patreon. I was like, that's a really good commercial. I do want to learn his back take. So he's not wrong there.
Yeah, nice. Right. He's pretty damn good at it.
But let's just very quickly look at just this footage. Look at the way how he maintains that back control. And what he's mentioning here is how he wants to control the shoulders as he's going along. And I just thought, like, damn, he's not wrong. This is something that I try to tell my students as well. I'm just not as consistent as he is. But he says he's trying to turn into me. And even he's noting like how he's able to maintain that. So I guess this is a free plug. If you guys want to go learn that, go check that out at Jet Thompson's his Patreon that is happening right now. But let's look at another clip here. I think this was Kevin Beering and Derek Adkins. Walk us through what you remember from this match.
So this is Beering and Adkins. Beering's got like a style that's very similar to Elijah Carlton from his bottom approach right here, which doesn't surprise me, right? They train together. Beering's just kind of setting Adkins up, baiting him in, eventually starts to attack the arm drag. He's looking to get some elevation here. I believe he ends up turning him to his back. That's right. Holy cow. He had that arm drag to the back and he didn't even get hooks in. He just choked him. And I got to say this, nobody's choking the neck anymore. Like literally, it's just under the nose. As long as you're right under the nose, you're good. It's right across the face. And then that's the end of it. Pretty wild stuff though, man.
Yeah.
Real smooth. That's like the kind of move you drill that you never actually hit in a comp. Like, yeah, it's beautiful. It's shades of Marcelo Garcia big time, man.
I was impressed with this match because it felt like it's such a disconnect that when you see the look on Kevin's face, like there was a couple angles where it just looked like he was really intense, and it's like you talk to him off air and he's just the nicest human being, but it really does bring out this different side of his character.
Right. Yeah, for sure it does. Kevin's got like a little bit of an American Psycho thing going on, I think. Just a little bit. Like, he seems nice and serious, but man, sometimes you just get that look in his face where it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know about this guy.
All right, now that we've seen that clip, let's go over. I think this is Sean's moment. Actually, no, this is just the sweep that Jet hit on Sean. Pretty solid. I did like this, but this is getting back into promoting Jet Thompson's Patreon. I do have a question though. I mean, he hit that so nicely, but I always feel like those of us on this who have short arms are always like, yeah, dude, we got short arms and legs. I think the Jet Thompson special works for a Jet Thompson size kind of a dude. Let's look at this great moment from Sean. Walk us through this one, if you would.
Oh, yeah. This is when he hits the row drag to the armbar against Cam Hurd. Real nice setup. Man, I think... Oh, Brett Moore, I'm sorry. I think he used a similar setup against Cam Hurd, though, but Hurd ended up getting his head out on the other side and popped out of it. But, yeah, Sean Melanson is impressive, man. Like, he can wrestle from all... He can fight from all the positions. He's dangerous from all the positions. And we saw him throw up a flying triangle in his match against Cam, actually. He jumped for it, man. He didn't get it. It was cool to watch a big guy hit the mat pretty hard. As an old guy, the last time I tried to hit a flying triangle was with about 8 seconds left at Fight to Win. And it was the most anemic, weak-looking, terrible. Like, in my brain, I thought I jumped 8 feet off the ground. But when I actually saw it, I'm like, man, it looks like I look like I'm from the I've fallen and I can't get up commercial, basically. Like, I just look like I slipped on the mat and fell down. But nice job from Melanson.
I want to point this out. Sean was definitely hunting for this on Cam Hurd. And there was a great moment where I thought Cam was in some trouble. I thought he might actually get armbarred by Sean. And all of a sudden you saw all the work that our buddy Asim has put into Cam Hurd that just basically curled his way back on out very effectively. But I was looking at it, I was like, damn, bro, I don't think I can do that. So I watched that, and then lo and behold, a little bit later, it's like, just watch the way how Sean positions himself once he hits the drag. You're going to see him kind of stop, and it almost looks like it is choreographed. It's not, but it looks like, watch. He stops here, and he's like, and I want the arm now. Got it. It's a thing of beauty. It looks incredibly fun. So well timed, but I would tell you, I really do feel like it's one of the first times I think in recent memory we've seen 3 money bags, and I think it's a nice mixture of he called a shot, he wanted money bags, and that the time and the place was right. That's the kind of move you want to get the money bags for. So I felt like it was kind of a perfect marriage of, hey, man, I promise you it's probably going to happen. And then it did. And then over here, this was a really interesting moment to see, because I'm not sure people thought this was going to happen. Josh Squires, who's had some very fun runs at some of the qualifiers, gets his shot, had some rough times. I don't know what the chain is here, though, Tim. Can you make any heads or tails of the chain that he had in the post interview here?
Is this? I think this is the dude I took a screen pic of, actually, when I saw him up on the screen. I was like, I got it. Yeah. I don't know what he was getting at. Like, but I mean, it kind of works. It looks like the Dream is a used car salesman in that photo. But I don't know who guy with the gold chain is. Is he a prospective customer? He's trying to sell him a truck or something. I mean,
but for Josh Squires here, it was just intriguing to see him get his moment and really make the most of it, because Jared was one of those people who had great momentum. It has been a very tough time to get more points. These guys are really going after each other, and I feel like the injuries are starting to build up a little bit. So I feel like the wear and tear is just like, hey man, I'm trying to make this happen. It's just not. This is Argyle Payments. That is a sponsor. Thank you for that. Because to me, I just didn't know why there was a chain. And I was like, is it a Mardi Gras thing? Is it something I'm missing? Is it like what you put on your body when you want to double down at the tables in Vegas? I am unclear of what that was. So thank you for the illumination there.
They ran out of cash bags. So Dalton's like, wait, what do you got? He's like, oh, I got this chain.
Just,
I don't know.
It definitely popped me for a second. So congratulations to Josh Squires. That one. Let's move on very quickly. I think there's just a couple smaller other highlights here. We talked a little bit about Gio being somebody very difficult to submit. Jet Thompson was able to get it done, but for a while Gio was, hey man, he's trying. It was one of those things. For the other matches, Gio was a force, looked at home. I remember people thinking this was a wrap right here and there. Because Jet was already looking to do this back take. And if memory serves me right, Gio actually turns in a couple times and ends up in his guard. I have some news for you, though. Ending up in Jet Thompson's guard is still not safe. Very, very scary place to be. But look at the effortless way that Jet Thompson is able to get the back there. And as we know, he now has a Patreon where you can learn those secrets. But Tim, any other observations that you have from this?
Yeah, I mean, the way Jet uses closed guard and no-gi jiu-jitsu, which often gets kind of poo-pooed, like, closed guard, nobody plays closed guard, K guard, this guard, whatever. I like all the guards, but closed guard is a G of a guard if you can play it, especially in no-gi. And Jet, he's so fast at making that angle. It's basically the same if you have mount and you kind of switch to modified mount or slide into S mount. He's just doing it from the bottom. Like, he can kind of hike his hips and he just doesn't wait, man. He cuts an angle and then you're hosed. Like, once he gets on your back, like, good luck, man.
Appreciate that. Let us look at just this. That was the same one with Sean who put it up earlier. This was a source of contention. So this was trying to figure out, is this the fastest submission in PGF history? Now, as somebody who has seen the records, I can tell you, I don't believe it's the fastest. But let me elaborate on that. I think our athletes want to have these calling cards. They want to have these things, these bragging points. And I think Jet might have actually forgotten a few things. One, he has previously held those records. So if anything, he's just kind of beating his own records. But two, when they said, was that the fastest they've ever had, I looked at the spreadsheets. I was going over them. It seems like there are some folks who have some claims. And on the broadcast, they did mention Matt Elkins. But I think what gets lost in all of this, for those slight bragging rights, is how difficult it is to submit Sam and how easy Elijah was able to make it look in this series. Any thoughts here, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Sam is not an easy task to take out. Elijah, I think, has just the right length to catch a dude that's stocky like Sam. Like, you got to be a little extra long. If you're just a regular legged dude, like, even if you're considered like, oh, he's tall, you're 6 feet, you got long legs, you're probably not going to get Sam in a triangle. You're just not going to have the length to make those angles. But Carlton's just, he's clever. He's like a snake in the way that he attacks, man. He chills, he plays, and then it's like, whap, man, he strikes on you. Not surprised to see it. Carlton is by far the most prolific point scorer in PGF. And you brought up Matt Elkins. If you look at the stats, Matt Elkins is at number 2. Matt Elkins is, but now I don't know if Thompson's passed him, but Matt Elkins has a lot of stats in the PGF that he racked up in those first few seasons.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, dude, I saw a number of very quick Elijah finishes in the spreadsheet. So it was kind of a weird thing where normally you're asking for bragging rights for history or to say in context, I'm better than this guy or I've beaten all these other people. And it's like, but you're beating yourself, dude. So we can just say like,
yeah, good job.
I'm still number one, or I don't know, but it's so weird that they look at you and they're like, in the moment, they go, that's got to be the fastest. And I go, that's not how this works. We need time to figure this out.
Guinness books.
Because there's nothing that's going to be worse than you have to backtrack a statement that you go, yeah, it is. Yes, it is. It's like, you know what? We'll look into it. We'll stay there. And I feel like the dream, I know you're watching, I feel like the dream hit it right on the head when he just goes, so that was one of the fastest of all time. Beautifully done. High marks. That's the way a broadcaster should note things here. We'll just do a couple more, and then I think we're going to move on. But let's look at this. This was really, I mean, I don't want to call it unexpected, but Cam Hurd's a strong guy. And, man, the flex after, that was for frustration. Cam was saying last week he didn't have the week he wanted to have, but you could feel in that moment what was going on for him. You could feel the joy that he had in kind of returning back to form. Cam is one of those guys who he performs and it's exciting, but sometimes you hold yourself to such a high standard that you expect more of yourself. But these highlights, these unexpected moments, that toe hold right there, that was definitely an incredible moment on that night. So shout out to the homie, Cam Hurd, for getting it done. I know that had to feel good that night.
Yeah, man, he's a pro and he's competitive and he doesn't want to not be in the top 10 with the rest of his team when it comes to points. So he's a tough out. Hurd is a real tough out in the PGF. He is a great guy to have on your team because when you run him out there, he's a tank and it's going to be a problem for whoever he stands against.
And look at that. Got a money bag as a result of his efforts that night. I think that Kevin Beering one, no surprise here. Let's give some love real quick on this one because this was some great bragging points for Brett Moyer. We earlier saw Brett get armbarred by Sean Melanson, but Brett is definitely hunting. Like, nobody has put Brett to the information that the Colorado Wolverines are out of contention. My man is still in there fighting like they have a shot at this. But what I feel Brett has done very well is he is definitely a leg locker trying to finish somebody. He has incredibly savvy and smart techniques that he utilizes here with this belly down footlock. Really well timed, beautifully done. I think he is one of the standout stars of the Colorado Wolverines because of his consistency of both trying to give you good moments for the team. And now I really do feel like individually he has really shown one of the more consistent presence for the teams. Whether he has a great match or not, I think he's had some good moments. Tim?
Yeah, and it says something about an athlete that does that, he can go out and lose and then come back and win in the same night in the next match and not carry that with him. A lot of guys are not used to losing that much, right? You go do a tournament, there might be one other guy in your bracket that really has a chance to get you, and the rest, like, you kind of know you're going to walk over. You come to the PGF and, there's 20 other, 15 other dudes, right? You're going to have to fight. And they're good. They're real good. And they could whoop you at any moment's notice. So it takes a lot of dedication and a real professional attitude, which we saw out of him. And he was in a great kind of battle back and forth. I think that was Moyer and Haven, right? Was that Travis Haven he was going against? Yeah, that was a great shootout.
And Travis and him, part of those young standouts who have looked good in their early incarnations with the PGF. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for both of them, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let me see here. It says, I believe Matt Elkins had 12 kills in a row in season 1. I could be off.
That's probably true.
Like, why do we say this shit? Like, literally, just get the facts. Literally look it up.
Yeah, right.
Because this is what we end up doing. And somebody's like, did this happen? And I go, I don't know. Let's look it up.
Well, it's like, I think I was in ADCC in 2024. I can't remember. I got to look it up.
It's just like, as I recall, I was the ADCC champion for 77K in 2015. Could be wrong.
I won in 1977. It wasn't really public then.
Well, that's going to do it for our tape study segment here. Why don't we move back to the board, see where we left off? Well, all right, I guess we need to explain this. This is butt out. So it appears that the UFC BJJ has made a statement, or at least Claudia has come out and said that butt scooters aren't really welcomed at UFC BJJ. Now, she's made statements in the past that have not been well received, but this is a particular one because jiu-jitsu ends up on the ground at some point, but it seems their preference is to have people who stand up and go for takedowns. The question is, has she seen our sport? Tim, I go to you first.
I mean, how could she not have seen our sport? She comes from gi jiu-jitsu. She's not, unaware of how the game works. And I get the sentiment, but I really feel like it is more of an echoing out to the audience that like, oh, we want action. We're going to change it. We're cutting edge. We're doing this. We're doing that. The reality is, like, playing off your back is a huge component of jiu-jitsu and submission grappling. Now, can you be at a disadvantage? Yeah, you can. Can it be boring? Yes, it can. But if somebody pulls guard on you and they're playing the game, it's your job on top to pass. They're basically saying, I'm so good, I'm going to give you the takedown and I'm still going to get you. A takedown, just for the sake of a takedown that ends up in closed guard and then you stall out the next 4 minutes, is, in my opinion, worse than a guy that sits down and butt scoots and tries to make something happen and it doesn't. And it's curious to me, to be honest with you, that the UFC is even taking this statement, seeing that they've kind of staked their claim on their big primetime star who made a career out of butt scooting, a career. And the time he didn't butt scoot, he did the Daniel LaRusso. He pulled out the Mr. Miyagi bag of tricks, and that didn't go over that great either. So I don't know where it's coming from, but I have a hunch, and this is just me, so I'll take the heat for this if there is fallout. I think the UFC has got an eye on their neighbor in Las Vegas, and they're watching the action, and they're seeing how things are going down because they're going like, hey, this bowl gets boring. And we got to step it up. Godella also alluded to the fact that, hey, we might have penalties. We might have some future things. Oh, you guys going to have a flag too? You just have a different color flag? Like, I feel like it's one thing to make improvements. It's another thing just to kind of sit back and pick off what's good about everyone else. And there's a little bit of that. And it's kind of frustrating to me, to be honest with you. And I think this is the wrong hill to die on for the UFC. Like, instead of banning butt scooting or guard pulling or making it like it's something that you can't do, tell your athletes, if somebody sits down to pass their guard, get after it. Like, get these guys going. That's a bigger problem than saying like one guy sat down to butt scoot. I mean, it's not wrestling, it's submission grappling. So you can't disregard that part of it. That's just my 2 cents. I say butt in, not butt out, butt in.
Okay, thank you for that, Tim. I won't let you take all the brunt of it, though. I'll jump in here because it's fun. Okay, let's discuss a few things. First and foremost, we're discussing the element of why UFC BJJ, in all of its infinite wisdom of being the best at what it's doing, supposedly, is now starting to explore reasons that it's not doing the best. So really what they're doing is they're giving you the option, the viewer, to also complain like them that they don't love to see stalls. Everybody, no stalling. From here on out, we hate stalling. Stalling is bad. Okay, then doesn't it really matter who you're picking? Like, these all sound like excuses for why the product isn't what the product is supposed to be. So a lot of that means it's going to be on the matchmaker. It's going to be on the people who find the talent. So they keep making these giant proclamations instead of just improving the product. So it's always like, hey, we now decree no more butt scooting. Okay. That's going to take away some pretty notable individuals. We have to get good wrestling. How many people have good wrestling in jiu-jitsu? It's not a bad goal. And yeah, it's a smaller slice of the pie, and you can definitely find Andy Varela. But I don't think there's 12 Andy Varelas. I think there's a few. Okay, cool. What are you going to do when you run out of that? You're just going to have 12 Andy Varelas going around trying to kill each other, and they all just do flips, probably not even attacking the person? You want variety. And the more you keep coming up with these really silly proclamations, the more you are creating this smaller and smaller slice of the pie. So I would really be careful about continuing to alienate a base that starts to see at the seams more and more. Taking from other rule sets isn't necessarily out of the question. That's fine. It might work for them. But I'm just wondering, like, what is this doing that you are adding? Just adding rules to add rules for the sake of it seems like a very inefficient long-term strategy. So what is the long-term strategy for UFC BJJ? Because it seems like it changes at the wind and where it blows. So really, just stick to a plan. If you want to go with no cool butt scooters, you might get some wrestlers who don't get submissions. So just think about that for a minute. Because one of your co-mains last week, actually, no, was it the main? Don't even remember. Too long ago. Can't remember. Not memorable. That's a problem. Anyway, I'm just letting you guys know. It is trying to be out here trying to support these things, but we do want to see it succeed. I think they just have to meet us halfway is really what it is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you do make some good points. And I think you're dead on about like why, what direction are we trying to take this in? And it just doesn't seem like they exactly know. It's just, hey, what are people doing? What looks cool?
Well, it just seems like anytime they take a small amount of criticism, it's like, well, can't be me. It's the fighters. Okay. So you know what? Yeah. Now, no more butt scooting. Take that. No more. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? I just realized I hate half guard. No more half guard. Like, what is that doing? It just sounds silly. Right. It's all elements of jiu-jitsu. So if you pull guard, be the best person at pulling guard. And what that requires from a matchmaker or a talent scout is to find the absolute best people who are good at playing guard. If you tell me that you're not going to let Larry Jones play guard and pull guard on bottom, you are limiting yourself. And that dude has had some fun matches. Are they fun to the Rotolos? Maybe not. Maybe there's a disagreement on what is fun there. But guess what? The Rotolos are under contract somewhere else. And those would be the people you would be claiming you're going to give us. So it's not saying you won't, but there's only so many of them. So if you really want to make those great stylistic matchups, you have to be committed to looking at everything. The more that you put up all these barriers, you're going to have some awkward ass wrestling from some dudes who could probably give you the dopest footlock, the dopest heel hook finishes. I realized where I erred. I said finishes. Okay.
Yeah, and the bowl like lends itself to the wrestler, honestly, right? They can run you up into the bowl and take you down. It kind of like, it's like, well, then you're going to get a different product and you're going to have these unintended consequences that are just as bad. There's no subs. Like, oh no, what are we going to do? Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they have a lot of resources and they have a machine behind it, but they don't, like when the UFC came out, RAF, you know, I know there were other fighting organizations for sure and Pride existed and all that, but for us, it was cutting edge. It was like, whoa, this is banned. This is wild. Like what? The UFC BJJ product already came out as like your 49-year-old mother who's like starting to shop at Lane Bryant now and doesn't get the cool kids clothes. You know what I mean? Like that's who they are. They're like Kohl's. You know, they're trying to come out and be hot topics, but they're Kohl's. They're not. It's like dude, you guys don't have the thing. You don't have the thing that you used to have because you didn't come at it the same way. So, and that's okay, man, because the PGF is crushing it. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Tim. I definitely need to hear somebody compare this to Cole's, especially at a random ass time when I'm like, is this grappler like Cole's, the shopping center? The other thing to consider here is this. I feel like they're just short of blaming the viewer. And that just gets dangerously close to like, what else is wrong? Well, you know what? The viewers aren't smart. And you know what? The viewers should have better eyes and ears. It's like, I feel like that's coming. I don't know when it's going to happen. But I just get this sense that the accountability, the buck stops here, just doesn't exist for that. And as that is being uttered, it's just like, well, look at what you've got. There is something there. We want it to be a successful thing, because that brings us to our next topic for discussion today, which is that Mighty Mouse made the argument there was no deal for jiu-jitsu, but plenty of space for the UFC to get a TV deal for Power Slap. Tim, why do you and Mighty Mouse think that might be?
Oh, I mean, dude, a lot of reasons, right? It's not shocking, and it kind of tells you the UFC, when they look at jiu-jitsu, they're like, how can we make this into Power Slap? Like, how can we pare this down to its most exciting format and give people that? The problem is you can't really do that with Eddie. Tried that with the EBI overtime tournament, where the whole thing was just EBI overtime one, and that it didn't. I mean, it's fun to watch for like 3 or 4 matches, and then you're like, okay, I'm over this, right? It's too much sugar. Power Slap has like a built-in highlight reel. You know what I mean? It's like 2 guys breathing heavy, slapping. Jiu-jitsu's like 2 guys in a body knot sweating on each other for 5 minutes. And, you know, the guy on bottom wins and your grandma doesn't know why. I think that's one of the major issues. And not to blame the viewers, but look, nobody looks away when somebody's about to get slapped in the face. Just the pure train wreck value to it, we can't not look. Like, we're gonna look. I might not seek it out, I might not go look for it, but if I'm flipping channels and I see Billy Boy going against Daryl Bob, I'm gonna watch Daryl Bob get slapped out big time. I want to see that. Outside of that, look, man, Power Slap has millions of people that like to watch people get slapped in the face. They watch the show and then they go about their business. Jiu-jitsu has thousands of people that want to watch jiu-jitsu. Before the show starts, they're on Reddit complaining about the show, complaining about the rules, complaining about the athletes. During the show, they're going to Instagram, they're going to Twitter, they're putting all their stuff out there. They're upset about this, they're upset about that. This should be ADCC, this should be no-gi, heel hooks should not be illegal, they should be illegal. Eddie's a fraud, Eddie's not a fraud. It's like this constant argument that jiu-jitsu has been in with itself for the last 20 years. And, you know, it's like that doesn't play that well either. It's a lot of upset, entitled practitioners that have a lot to say about it, which could be a good thing in that your viewers are engaged. But if you put it up against Power Slap, if I'm a TV executive, I'm going Power Slap all day long. The only time I'm putting jiu-jitsu on literally is if we're like in a knee bar challenge where you get to start with a fully locked in knee bar and you could break it and then the dude has his chance, and maybe we'll watch that. But I think even then the slap is just so much more dramatic than a break. It's just, you just can't do it like Power Slap. And jiu-jitsu doesn't, we just don't have our stuff together the right way, man. The UFC probably could get a TV deal, but they probably don't think the product's worthy to put on TV.
Well, I think they have a mismatch of their fan base and jiu-jitsu. I think they just don't see how to make it work. They're just like, nah, we need takedowns. Do you? They just need finishes, really. They just need something cool to look at. They need engaging personalities. They need narrative storytelling. And I think the UFC has proven they know how to do that, but they think they're just trying to figure out, like, how do we trick people to watching this? And there's a lot more of that than actually like, how do we build a base of people who are more interested in this? Because it's a growing base. So yeah, it's a difficult thing to accomplish here. And you might be right. Maybe we just don't want a TV deal. Maybe just the way we carry ourselves, it's like, how bad do you really want this if this is the way you conduct yourself? I just want to point this out. The main reason you do have a TV deal for Power Slap, it has nothing to do with athletic competition. Mighty Mouse was alleging to the fact that, yes, it's a influencer, a celebrity-based clientele that comes to these things, and all people are doing are networking. So really, that is the impetus behind its success.
Oh,
and
karate combat.
I feel like the other thing to consider here for Power Slap is it has the full machine of Dana White behind it. That's it. That's the whole reason why. Why else is this person telling you that more people are watching Power Slap than exist in the United States? Why is he telling us that worldwide Power Slap has this many people watching it? And you go, sir, I don't think that many people exist on Earth. I think it is a mission for Dana White and UFC to get Power Slap seen by as many people as possible. And I feel like after you get the shock value of just, I've slapped this person, he gets knocked out, you are trying to mix the underground essence of World Star with the illusion it is an athletic sport. When in actuality, you're basically just praying, does this person get CTE or not? And some people pray for it and some people pray against it. I can just tell you, I have seen it. It's not anything I want really associated with us, but they definitely push that down the UFC's throats a lot more than they've even remotely tried for anything BJJ. And they did. They could say they tried for BJJ for like a month. But Power Slap is always consistently on the UFC feed, and that's why I had to mute it. I was like, I'm just not interested. I don't need to see it. And Godspeed. But that's the main reason why. They just want it to exist. You could get a deal for UFC BJJ. It might be unfavorable for the moment, but for a long-term career organization, don't forget that the UFC bought advertising space to be on TV after Monday Night Raw. They paid to be on TV. That was an investment. They could do that again, but they have money. So they just figured, no, you should want our product. So instead of making it good, we'll just bitch about, here's Power Slap, because people just give themselves willingly to do it. So that is where more of the disconnect is. I did appreciate Mighty trying to give the articulated points there. It was like, the real answer is just Dana wants it, and that's a priority for the organization. That's it. The part I didn't know about it being an influencer-based thing, sure, that checks out. That makes sense. But I've never been there in person. So it makes sense that that's an organization where you don't have to pay attention for 97% of the event. But just be talking to somebody and be like, oh shit, did he get knocked out? Oh, snap. So I guess what I was saying is, have you ever thought of coming in as an investor on Cutco Knives? Yes or no?
I would like to see Power Slap where the person getting slapped has to have a mouthful of food and then they get smacked, and then we measure the power of the slap by how far the food travels. It could be like a little Gallagher-esque. People in the front will have like those clear plastic sheets over their heads so nobody blows chunks on them. If we're going to make it exciting, let's make it exciting. Let's like really push the envelope. Let's go Monty Python.
Fair enough, Tim. I appreciate that. Let us move on to our next topic. This is something that I think you're going to have to walk me through a little bit more, because the wrestling world is very interested in now the backstory behind this gentleman, Giorgio. He has built a fan base by challenging people to take him down. It seems that in the wake of his very prominent brawl at the most recent Real American Freestyle event, people have really started to question, I mean, has this dude been taken down before? And do people have the receipts to show? Tim, what can you tell us about it so that it can help us better understand what this is all about?
Yeah, so you may have seen Giorgio Paulos on Real American Freestyle 6. He had the controversial match against Armin Sarukian that broke out in a fight. Sarukian won the match, and then he proceeded to win the fight. Paulos is a good wrestler. He's D1 for Cleveland State, Ohio State high school champ. He kind of became a social media personality with this if you can take me down, you win $1,000. And he films himself. He goes to it looks like he's like at Venice Beach and just random places. And he just says, hey man, if you could take me down, you get $1,000. And he gets people challenging him. Most of these guys are in, Adidas track pants and Hanes beefy t-shirts, and they're just getting slammed. And he's not nice about it either. Like, he'll get that single leg up and hoist it and flip dudes over under their head. But he had this matchup against Sarukian, and, Sarukian got really upset at him, said he was rough, said he just wanted to fight and eye poke, et cetera, et cetera. And the internet, the internet as a memory that never goes away, started going through his videos and looking at moments where he has been taken down. And so the beef now is this guy has a takedown challenge that he says he can't be taken down. He'll give you $1,000 if you can, but he never pays out. This is like when you hit the slot machine in Vegas, and then the floor boss comes over with the technician and they inspect the machine and they're like, oh, we're not going to pay out. It was a malfunction. Giorgio's got one of these bits going. He kind of just ignores it when it happens. So I thought it was kind of funny. What a way to make a name for yourself. He's going to have a rematch at RAF 7 against Sarukian. And I'm like, I get what RAF is doing because this is building heat for the matchup, but these guys already fought once. So if we're going to do it, I think it should be lumberjack style. I think they should get all the coaches, all the athletes out from the back, everybody who's got some experience, surround him around the mat, get that guy that had long hair and all white that was at every scene of the fight last time, have him out there and just make these guys have a match, and we just keep them in the gigantic square. I shot you the video. I don't know if you could pull it up, but there's a couple dudes who have taken, in my opinion, Giorgio down, and I wanted to get your opinion, Raf, on this. Are these clean takedowns? I say yes. I think you'll say yes, but I want to be fair because sometimes I'm off, and we like to run stuff by each other. I know if you say yes, then it's locked. We're nuking, like it's full on. So got a nice little get over here. He tried to somersault. I mean, he even gave the tap, right? He's in the yellow t-shirt. He tries to do like a little head spin.
Okay, but is this not definite here? Like, you went from being upright to now you're on your back. That looks like a takedown to me. Okay.
This is how Alfonso broke his neck spinning on his head in the early 80s. Not safe, man.
All right, so that's one video. Is this the second video? This is the one I have seen.
Yes.
That little trip here. Now, who's the person who did this to him here?
This was I think it was a cop. It was some dude who was a cop who was tough. And it looks like a cop trip too, right? Get a clinch, get a little foot kick. Sure. Boom, you're in. Oh, you like my editing. Never miss a pose.
I'm just trying.
Are those clean takedowns?
Okay, can I just respond the way I want to respond to all this?
I want you to so bad.
Sure, they're great takedowns. Who gives a shit? This whole culture of people being like, take me down, I'll give you $100. Why do we watch that? I don't watch it, but I see other people do in spades. It feels like every freaking hook needs to be attached for something for people to be interested in. I've seen it as far back as when people said, change my mind, and had a poster. And I said, I don't need to. And you know what? The fact that you need to watch this is dumb. So for wrestlers, sure, it's a point of pride. Can you take me down? So you think you take me down, you get this money, end of story. Now you've got people continuing the story because the dude didn't uphold his honor. So you mean to tell me he was just using it for attention the whole time? Oh my God. What an influencer. Somebody who uses the internet to make you dummies give him notoriety and popularity. I think you get what you deserve. I think you promote and watch this. There is a likelihood somebody's going to take advantage of you. And the fact that people are like, we've exposed this fraud. You look like some dude who's hanging outside of a hospice and literally trying to tell you, we've uncovered fraud here today. No, my man, you went outside an office. I think you got to do more than that to convince me of stuff. So yeah, I do see those as takedowns. Do I give a shit? No. Does it make for a good story for Real American Freestyle? Yeah, but that's kind of dumb too. Legitimately, you have to ask yourself, why do you even care about this dude? And if you're pre-inclined to dislike him, then boo him, pay your ticket, do what you need to do. But I will tell you, that is why, up on the opposite side, that way, when that dude is in a neck brace and you wonder why, it's because that's the shady dude who doesn't pay. Of course it all makes sense. Of course you know that dude's not going to pay. That dude's in a neck brace after a stupid ass brawl complaining he had so many injuries and then magically he's without the neck brace just hours later. You made him popular. That's your problem. I have not seen a video of him other than when I have been forced against my will. Yes, they're takedowns. Yes, you're dumb. Stop making dumb people famous. End of story.
I agree. However, just a caveat. Every man should have a neck brace in his gear bag with him. It is a power move. You could stub your toe. You put that neck brace on and you will have people feeding you grapes and carrying you out of the building. Like if you're in a crowded area, you want people to get out of your way, you go to Disneyland, put a neck brace on. The C parts. Nobody wants to bump a dude with a neck brace. All they see is injury lawsuit. They're like, stay away from me, buddy. Not going to happen. It's a highly, highly underutilized tool.
Tim, I really do feel like neck braces were more of an late 80s comedy shtick. Because I feel like there were moments when people in movies would like put them on. And I always thought neck braces were going to be a major problem in life. Then I watch pro wrestling and I go, oh, it's a great gimmick. People should do that more often. Yeah. Then I see this dork come in here and I go, what are you doing? How does this project strength like you won? Or how does this project like, damn, I really showed him. You're in a neck brace, dude. It kind of looks clownish. And then you think, well, you got to sell the next part of the story. And lo and behold, they have a rematch. So I guess in that way it works. But when people want to do this whole exposure and you get Pat Downey putting it on his podcast and saying like, look, we've exposed him as a fraud. I was like, or you could have just had eyes and been like, why do I know this dude? That's really what it is. It's not a shock to me. It's just, okay. And then they show you the footage. You're like, isn't that a takedown? Yes. But also, maybe you should take down yourself, sir. So there be that. All right, let's move on. NETFLIGHTS. Okay, so it does appear the Ronda Rousey card. So you got Ronda versus Gina has had some additions. Yes. Now, Francis Ngannou is facing a dude. Don't really know him. But one late breaking thing is that Mike Perry is taking on Nate Diaz. As our resident 209 correspondent, Tim, I'm sure you have feelings about this.
I mean, listen, I root for the Diaz brothers. I want them to win. I want them to do well. I want them to be happy, adjusted citizens and have good lives. And, you know, I don't think Nate's hurting for bread. Maybe that's why he's fighting. I don't know. I have no clue on that. But I can tell you this. Perry versus Diaz on Netflix. This is going to be like Nate's going to show up 10 minutes late, hitting a vape. Perry's going to show up 10 minutes early, already bleeding. Netflix is going to push a show with no writers, no editors, no nothing, and they're going to call it prestige content, and it'll probably be the most watched show, like right up there with like Is It Cake and Too Hot to Handle. You know what I mean? Like this is where this is where this is going. The only thing I'm concerned about is like it doesn't matter who you get in the press fight conference on this one. You're not going to be able to understand either dude. Like, you're really not at the end of this fight. They already kind of got a way they talk that's hard to understand. I can't imagine.
No, did somebody say they didn't want to understand how somebody talks? I'm just saying somebody here is really happy that there's an Nate Diaz back on card because this is coming in handy again like it's 2016, dog.
Dude, I put this topic on the board because I wanted to hear you do Nate Diaz. This is like my own personal gratification, man. But I got a setup for you. Can I give you a setup?
Please, I would love that.
Okay, the setup is this. I actually think Netflix fumbled a little bit. They could have got these guys to fight for free if they would have just sat them back to back in a Waffle House and not told them that they're sitting back to back behind each other in a booth at a Waffle House. It wouldn't take much. You could have had the brawl happen right then and there. So what would Nate Diaz Waffle House be? That's what I know it's on the spot, but I have a lot of faith in you, Raf.
Well, first of all, dog, thank you for even asking that question, because the way it would go down, I get smothered, covered, hash, both hash, whatever, dog. And after I take that down. But the thing is like, nobody goes to Waffle House just to eat. Like, it's fine. But, like, you go to Waffle House to, like, fight. So, like, I get some of my amateurs. I bring them to Waffle House. And I go, if you learn to fight at Waffle House, I can give you a fucking real fight. So, yeah, I mean, if you just put him behind me, I would have been like, what's up, bitch? You looking at me? And then he would have been like, I don't know. He would have said some racist shit because I think, it's not there. And I would have been like, whatever, dog. And then I would have hit him on behalf of America because, like, what? And then on behalf of 209 because, like, what? But, yeah, I mean, he's a bitch. And, like, yeah, bro. Listen, dog. Did you guys see that BMF title? Y'all, dog, you can tell me the White House card is good, but we know what you guys are going to be watching come Netflix in May.
Man, it's great. You even got the high elbows.
Listen, you can't do this. There's no fight photo like when you're a kid. And what's great about Nate Diaz is he is a kid who was doing this even in his childhood photos. And you go, no, that's who he was supposed to grow up to be. And every account of him in person has always been like, the Diaz brothers are pretty nice. And I think to myself, yeah, because they understand what gets people riled. And if you take it the wrong way, they don't mind that either. So it's a win-win situation for the both of them. I would just tell you, here's why I'm happy this card exists. I want people to go get paid. That's really all it is. Rhonda, go make your money. Gina, make your money. Francis Ngannou, make your money. Guy who Francis Ngannou is fighting, good sir, I hope you make money. I'm not sure that they're paying you, but I can tell you for sure they are paying Nate Diaz because I think the UFC got stingy and said, you guys aren't worth the dollars you are printed on. Get the hell out of here. And Ronda Rousey heard that and is like, I'm coming for Hunter's job. I'm coming to show them it was so much better when Dana was in charge, which is wild because he was in charge. And why is he there? I guess he's not in charge. What does he do then? Does he file paperwork? No one knows. But apparently in legally binding documents, Dana White doesn't do stuff like matchmaking or helping, but he's very prominently a part of being the face of it and tells you we'll get that done. So, having said all those things, I did find out Jake Barbabian, a friend of the show, just made his way onto that card. So I think that you guys will very much like him on that. I'm intrigued to see what other individuals get sucked into that world who are local to us out here in Los Angeles. We've been waiting for some fights. And you know what's really wild? It will likely do bigger numbers than the White House card.
Yeah.
I feel with Netflix's ability to make sports happen, if they can make Jake Paul a star and have even 20 million people tune in, it will dwarf what UFC does at the White House. I think UFC at the White House will likely do about 7 to 10 million. I feel like 7's a pretty soft place to put it at. But you will notice that the last card that was a pay-per-view, it's free to everybody. And do you know the millions it attracted on that event just a couple weeks ago? I think it's 326. Do you know that number offhand, Tim?
I thought it was like 2.5 mil or something like that.
I think it peaked at 3.5, but the average was closer to a high 2.7. So if you're looking at the UFC having this multi-billion-dollar deal, they're going to be some bragging rights for Netflix if they even approach those levels. And I feel that given the way that Netflix does their totals for their viewers, I think they'll be able to say that they outdrew it. So I think there's a reason why Ronda Rousey is turning it up a little bit right now.
Yeah, she's feeling good. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I am definitely all for it. I like watching these guys. I totally forgot about Francis Ngannou. Like, I straight up forgot about that dude. Like, I didn't even know he was going to come back and fight.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So we've gotten all these things essentially done. We've got one last order of business to do. So why don't we go to this week's low light highlight of the week? But Tim, before we get into that, what can you tell us about this low light highlight, sir?
This is a different kind of fight than I've ever seen in the street on a video, but I have engaged in this kind of fight multiple times, especially when I lived in Stockton. This is just the posturing before the fight to see if you're gonna fight. These guys were very good at it. It was a strong back and forth. And I kind of have a hard time deciding who the winner is. I think it's the guy on the right side of the screen, but I'm not positive. I go back and I watch it. I'm like, maybe the other guy got the better of him. I'd like to get your opinion on it. Like to put it out before the viewers, but I got to warn you ahead of time. This is not like a fight that you've ever seen before. This is a totally different kind of fight.
Oh boy. All right. Well, now I'm nervous about it. But Tim, walk us through the first look of this low light of the week.
I feel like these guys are in England and you get a FU and then you get a FU. And he's like, I'm walking away. And he's like, well, F you. And he's like, well, F you. And then he follows back with a nice back fist FU right to each other's face. And now they kind of separate sides. Yellow Jackets walk. No, and he turned around. He's got a real good spinning back middle bird. They walk down the street in a parallel flip off. I can't figure out exactly who won, but it's the only fight I've seen where when they start fighting, they start stepping further and further away from each other, but get more aggressive in their gesturing. I think on the streets, Black Jacket won because I feel like Yellow Jacket walked away, and that's a sign of weakness on the streets, especially in a bird off. When you're in a bird off, you gotta stand your ground, dude. You can't back away. You can't let the power of the middle finger push you away. And that's what this guy did. He used some Dillman energy focus waves that he shot at Yellow Jacket guy and got the win. In my books, he won.
Thank you for that, Tim. Allow me to take a quick stab at this. So first off, I'm pretty sure this is a Kids in the Hall sketch. Second.
Oh, yeah? It might be.
I mean, no, not like you pulled it from their library. I think this is something that they've done where I go, oh, this is 100% a comedy bit. But let's take it for a real fight because that's what we do here. So let's start off with this first exchange. The intense, right in the face. I love that. But you know what he's doing? He's using the middle finger to be like, look into my eyes. Smart, brings attention to the intensity. Then as he pulls away, the other dude literally doesn't at all blink. Just like, wham, I got one too, bud. So now that they both figured out they have middle fingers, how do you escalate it? The walk away. That's big. But Tim, I think there's a reason behind it. The no look at both ways of traffic and turn around and do this. Immaculate technique. It says, I walk on the wild side. I don't care about the traffic and street rules. I live dangerously. And that van could have hit that human being. But I think the van stops here because they go, oh, you know what? They're in the middle of a middle finger off. Let's let these boys get it out of their system. Now, nobody here has made fun of the fact that this dude is wearing a coat and a beanie. And I feel like if I was doing a flick off, I would have used the finger to flick off the beanie. Missed opportunity here, especially when they get in your face first. The van does stop. Traffic is now happening, in case you didn't notice. But everybody here behind them is wondering, if they're in England, let's just assume, hey, why we come to a stop now? Oh, they having a middle finger off. Oh, yeah, I believe we've just got to stay here and let them be boys. So they go back and forth. Missed opportunity here, Tim. Missed opportunity. Yes, that last look, that lingering, going back and forth. They're on different street corners. I want you to watch this, and I'm going to tell you why they missed a huge opportunity, Tim. This could have been a perfect opportunity to peekaboo middle finger. But he didn't. Instead, he was just walking down the street. You had a coverage right here. You could have hidden behind the van, turned around, and then snuck out, literally off camera, lamp, like that. And he would have won. I have to say, black coat does win. And with that, Tim Freeman, tell the people where they can find you in case they are so inclined, sir.
You can find me at Inside BJJ on your favorite social media platform. If you're out in Nashville and you want to learn how to master the flick off, 10th Planet Nashville, I'm available for private lessons on the cheap. I could flip off with my left and right hands, and my feet are pretty ambidextrous too. I have a lot of dexterity down there. I think I could do a middle foot flip off very, very easily, or sorry, middle toe flip off. If you're out in Stockton, go see my boys at 10th Planet Stockton. Make sure you check out the PGF Week 4 coming up. Is going to determine the team championship. And then after that, we got the playoffs in Week 5, man. So I'm stoked, Raf. Great to see you again. Great job, by the way, on the post-fight interviews. You're crushing it out there in Las Vegas. It's been a real, even though I can't be there, I still take great pleasure in watching you kill it out there, man. So nice work, dude.
Appreciate that, sir. And you are very much there in spirit. At least that's what I've told people who have asked, where's Tim? And I'm like, he has passed on, unfortunately. I do host
I'm cyber-stalking the PGF.
I do have an AI client that I do the host show with. So that's why you always see him on a computer and not in person anymore. And I think a couple of them bought on it. They were like, damn, that's good AI. And I was like, yep, Tim is for sure dead, but his consciousness is in AI. Nonetheless, Tim, you have a great rest of your day, my man.
That's a waste of electricity. All right, thanks, man.
I'll talk to you later, buddy. Tim Freeman, everybody. And before we get on out of here, you guys, the last couple reminders. Number one, if you like the show, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does mean a lot to us here. Additionally, you can find me at Grappling Hour on all major organizations, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. If you still use that, who even knows at this point. We got a lot of different stuff coming up. Yes, I will be for the PGF on Wednesday again. We'll do a live show before the main show, so at about 3:30 p.m. Best Coast time, 6:30 East. If you want to stay with us all the way through, watch all the matches, and then at the very end, hang out with me for the official post show. But ladies and gents, I think that's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. I thank you so much for watching. If you want to hang out with me tomorrow, I am commentating and doing some cage interviews for Sparstar MMA. Very excited to be back there with that incredible organization. But that'll do it for us today, ladies and gents. It has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.